But daddy is a state of mind, you know what I'm saying? I'm your daddy.
Let's go.
Get up on y'all. You gonna learn today.
Daddy, chill.
Call me daddy.
What's up, everyone? We have a fucking amazing show for you today. We've been trying to do this for at least 2 weeks, maybe more. I got sick, and then you were busy. I was busy.
Yeah.
We were supposed to do this Friday, but we moved it to today because we both had time. We have, if you don't know who Sean from Highendcasebreaks is, first of all, you've been living under a rock for the last 19 months. It's safe to say, and I'll be the first to admit it, it's safe to say that you single-handedly kept pages alive last year. I'll be the first. You kept our page alive, ripping on our channel. And I know of probably a dozen other pages that you spend money on and ripped on that you single-handedly saved their page.
So you're saying my addiction is the reason why some people stayed in addiction.
Hey, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I just love it. And I'm a degenerate. And, you know, just I live for this stuff. You know how I am.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I just love cards, man. And Bowman is the way to go for me personally because it's more affordable, you know?
Yeah,
so,
and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
I want to get into your origin stories. Tell everyone, when did you get your foot in the hobby? When did you get that first, cocaine bump of ripping a fucking box?
Like a crack addict, bro.
Yeah, give me that Panini 1-in-1.
Dude. It's not that like interesting of a story, but just like everyone else, I got back in the hobby during COVID, like just looking for forms of entertainment. We're locked up in our houses, can't do anything. Like, what do you do for entertainment? You can't even go watch a freaking movie. Am I allowed to cuss, by the way? Because that's just natural.
Man.
Okay.
Dude.
All right, it's just natural. If I don't cuss, I'm holding myself back, bro. So
listen, I get people. Their one big comment on me is they say, "Hey, you could do with less fucks," and then I say, "But that's the thing is, I don't care. Like, I give zero fucks, so I'll keep."
I could do it both ways. You can either get the political version of me, or
no, I don't want the political
politics
version
with you, or we could do the.
I wouldn't be wearing my Kanye West shirt
exactly.
if I wanted your political
100%.
version
all right,
of you.
All right. I figured as much. All right. So this is. Let me tell you how it all started. So like, I grew up in Los Angeles, okay? And there was an LCS, literally, my LCS was down the street from me, okay? By Taft High School, Winnetka, for all the LA guys watching this. Like, that was like my spot, okay? And when Kobe Bryant came into the NBA, when he got drafted in 1996, I just fell in love with this dude. Like, I just loved Kobe. And I wanted to own every single Kobe Bryant card in existence. Like, literally, I don't care what product it was. I don't care if it was an insert. I didn't even know the difference that time between inserts or regular bays, or there was barely any autos even then. I don't even know if there was, but like, autos were like not even what you were chasing. You just wanted
Super scarce. They were scarce.
They were scarce, but you just wanted a picture of Kobe Bryant on the card, and it didn't matter. And that's how I got into the hobby to begin with. So that my journey started in '96, right? Chasing Kobe Bryant. And, like, for me, I've always liked finer things, but I worked towards being able to get them, right? So I was going after his biggest cards. I was trading everything I could to get. I had literally, I'm not joking you, I had over 1,000 different Kobe Bryant cards, probably by 2003, 2004 time period. But it got to a point, and I still have cards from that time, be like Eddie Jones cards and Nick Van Exel cards, like the coolest cards. I sometimes go in it and I look at it and it's just so cool. But in 2004, so I lost my father when I was younger. Okay. And I'm an only child. So like, it was about supporting the household and whatever. So I sold all my Kobe Bryant cards way too early. Okay. And because I had to make, ends meet and had to help my mom. And so like, I sold everything I got. And now I obviously regret it. But I didn't own a single Kobe Bryant card. But this is what I did as well. I always thought that there was an advantage to being able to collect like high-end stuff and then getting that like really rare card. And so when Exquisite came on the map I think it was like 03, 04, I don't know if that was the first year or not. I started buying 03, 04 Exquisite boxes at $500 a box. I'm not joking. I had like, no bullshit, I had like 200 boxes, dude, of that stuff. Could you just imagine, bro, like what that would be today? Oh, I lost you. Hold on. I can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
On my side? I can't hear you. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. So could you imagine how much that would be?
Yeah, imagine having that in your closet somewhere, right? And you're just like, hey, let's go live and rip an Exquisite that I paid $500 for. It's pretty. Dude. That's pretty wild. I think you're around the same age as me. My life was Tiger, Kobe, and Brady. So it was like,
yeah,
that was my whole thing.
Those are good guys.
I was a white left-handed basketball player trying to emulate Kobe Bryant's turnaround.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel you.
Always, that Kobe was everything, in my household.
100%.
So, how did you, when you got back into the hobby come COVID, you weren't ripping Bowman, you were ripping everything, right?
I was not ripping baseball at all. So like in 2020, I was just strictly basketball initially, not even football. It was basketball because I grew up playing basketball, and I did this to kind of connect with my childhood hobby, right? And so naturally I gravitated towards basketball, and I didn't know anything about baseball players. Like if you put me in a fantasy league of any sport, football, baseball or basketball or whatever, I'll pick up after 1 year. I'll know because I'm a stats freak. I go to box scores and I love reading and articles, and then I start researching, right? But baseball and football was non-existent for me. It was just basketball. And I was doing all the big stuff like NT, flaws. Like you got to understand, in 2020, we're talking 2020. Now I'm definitely more established in my career. I have the means to go after the big stuff. I was buying cases of 1920 NT. I was actually buying it. So then once I started getting into football, then I started buying 2017 Mahomes year National Treasures for $40,000 a case. Yeah. Like this is my entry in, right? And and then you get addicted and you start chasing, and then you realize, dude, there's no path to breaking even. Like when you're ripping at this amount, not only that, you're losing your shirt when you're doing NT or flawless in volume. You're literally losing your shirt. So it wasn't sustainable, bro. Like even if it was just dumb. Like I'm just burning through my cash.
And I think there's a lot of you type of guys out there that have, and a lot of you guys come and you go. And the problem is that you're not being guided, especially the new guys that know nothing.
Yeah.
They come into the hobby and they start ripping through NT, flawless, fucking prism, all that shit. I'm not saying that it's not good, but like not to just burn through personals.
Yeah.
And so you're not being guided. And then you find yourself, and many others find themselves going, fuck this, man. I'm $250,000 in ripping, and I probably have $50,000 in cards lying around. And
I agree. No, you're right. Like there's a difference between ripping like one case of something or one box of something. But if it's something that you really like to do and you get joy from it, and it's now part of like entertainment, and you're doing it at a volume level, it doesn't make sense. And that's the thing. Like even to this day, if NT comes out of basketball, or I might buy one box just for fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, and we'll get into how I got into Bowman and stuff. But like, yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Like, it just, I don't know how once you get into Bowman you go back though. It just doesn't make sense from any standpoint, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And you actually came into Bowman around the time where I was telling everyone to pump the brakes, because I started
really?
seeing the Bowman box prices like go up, and we
Okay.
were like, we were like the closet Bowman guys,
Yeah.
where we're like, keep ripping this Bowman stuff. It's affordable, it's good value, you're gonna prospect. And then I don't know what happened, but it was like late. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. People just caught on. They were like, this is the way. We're going to go through Bowman. And so the box prices did start climbing up. And I mean, 2022 Bowman came out, and it was I want to say we were buying boxes at like $750 a box.
Yeah.
Now they're already back to that price now because of Ellie, but they shouldn't have been that when they first dropped.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't have been that.
And see, I'm not going to say that I knew the historical. I didn't. But
yeah,
when I got into Bowman, and the reason why I got into Bowman was one of the older PSA reps at PSA was a big Bowman guy. He's no longer there, but he was just saying, Sean, like you should look into like baseball. If you want to recoup money and you want like even a chance at breaking even on these cases, Bowman is where it's at. And I remember in 2022 when Bowman baseball came out, for me, you have to understand, like a $5,000 for a case, I was like, this is cheap. Like, I'm thinking this is cheap. He's like, no, dude, this is ridiculous. He's like, these come out usually under $3,500. Like, it's going the wrong way for even us baseball guys. I didn't know what he meant by that at the time. You know what I mean?
Well, because a lot of people like you are so used to spending 16, 17,000 on a select case.
Exactly.
And when you see, that's how a lot of our buyers came around. They're like, fuck, I could buy 3 cases of Bowman for that. Sam Nubbs like dabbled into baseball because he realized, hey, I buy 1 case of Flawless, or I can buy fucking 6 cases of HTA.
Yeah. So I
So
personally haven't met Sam Nubbs or spoken to him, but I know of him, right? Of course. Who doesn't, right? But I don't really see him doing a lot of baseball. I see him still sticking to football and basketball, which, and God bless him, he's got some big pulls. I mean, when you keep shooting, eventually you're gonna fucking hit, right?
Of course,
so more power to him. And I always, like, if I see him ripping, I'm always rooting the guy on, because I know I've been on that side. I know what it feels like, right? So when you see him pull, you're like happy for him. But the point is, like, I'm surprised he doesn't do more baseball, because he would be recouping so much easier.
Yeah. What is your, okay, so we have to talk about this. I don't want to waste too much time. I want to get to the fucking meat and taters. You are getting on a lot of people's radar because of multiple things. You spend a lot of money. You have spent a lot of money. You spend a lot of time. You spend a lot of effort, and you say what you feel or how you feel, which I love. I gravitate to. There's a lot of things that you say and post that I don't agree with. When 2023 came in, I mean, there was times where I was like, what the fuck is Sean saying? What is his deal? And we could talk about that. Like, you know what? Let's talk about it. Let's go into the Bowman stuff, because 2023 came out, and I knew when it came out, I knew what we were getting into. And I don't think a lot of people were educated into what they did with 2023 and how hard it was to hit in 2023. When it first came out, when I got that checklist, I looked and I go, motherfucker, we're going to hit 1 Drew Jones per 6 cases. That's the average. You're going to have the anomalies, but over the course of that, all that fucking being ripped, you're going to hit each player technically every 6 cases. And we knew that going into it. And, it's hard. It's hard as a breaker when there's a demand and those guys, everyone just wants to rip it. So let's talk about that, because you really went after Tops on that stuff, and now looking back,
well, mostly Fanatics.
Fanatics,
because they were the acquisition had already occurred, so they were kind of this was their first release under their umbrella, right? So I was and to me, the price point when let's get into it. So 2023 Bowman, when it came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand, a lot of this is just knowledge base as well, right? So I wasn't aware that 2022 Bowman came out at $750 a box, like you just said. Actually, this is kind of new to me. I didn't know it was that high. I knew it was higher than previous years, but I didn't know it was that high upon release. So I just know that I bought 2022 Bowman Chrome cases at like $3,600, $3,500, $3,200. I was buying before Ellie's blow up, and I'm on you guys. I posted to my live. Everyone knows I bought like 40, 50 cases of 2022 Bowman. It's in my garage. I bought it at like less than $4,000 a case, right?
Yeah.
Again, affordable, for the most part. And then you have 2023 Bowman coming out, right? And I'm looking at the checklist like you are, and this is what I see. First of all, the cases, and you look, as a breaker, you can only offer the case prices, team breaks, or pick your team, or division front, whatever it is, or snake draft, whatever, at what you buy it at, plus a little bit of a markup for yourself. But if you have to freaking buy the case at $6,000 or $6,500, of course, it's going to be kind of like a little bit, a lot higher than any other previous year. That's just what it is. And everyone wants the new product. Everyone wants the new release. Everyone wants to chase the new prospects. You've been on record as saying like, hey, when a product first releases, get your cards to eBay. Like that's
100% right away.
You've said that. You said get them to eBay, or before the season starts during spring training, get your cards to eBay, right? So like that's what people want to do. So they want to rip, they want to get Drew Jones, they want to hit whoever. I mean, and so I'm looking at the checklist, right? And I'm looking at the checklist. I'm like, Lunar Glow, Blue Lunar Crater, Green Grass or Grass Fed, whatever the shit. Like, what the
grass
fuck?
fed? Yeah.
Like, and you got to understand, like, even though I've only been in Bowman primarily for not even 2 years, let's be honest, like 18 months, right? Maybe not even that, maybe a little less than 18 months. But once I go into something, I really delve in. Like, so my 18 months might be equivalent to someone's 5 years worth of knowledge. It's just because this is all I do now every single day. And I surround myself naturally with people like you who we talk Bowman, we talk baseball. So I'm learning, right? And so I'm talking to these guys and they're like, dude, I miss the days Bowman used to just be base auto, refractor, purple or whatever, blue, gold, orange, red, and super. And that's why lavas, shimmers, atomics, green, these things don't hold value. Waves, these things don't hold value in the marketplace, in the secondary market, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you have refractors that are out of $499 selling for the same or more than a green refractor out of $99, right?
Yeah.
So it's clear that the public, the public has already spoken. We don't want fluff. We don't want bullshit. We don't want additional, bullshit named refractors. And so for at least the last 2-3 years, besides shimmers and waves, right, they hadn't really added it's just 2023 where they started adding lunar crater, pearl,
the green grass,
green grass and all this stuff. And this is now, look at the timing of it, right? This is how I'm looking at it, right? And maybe I'm not looking at it from a bigger picture, and I think I understand that now, but at the time, this is how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it, it's Fanatics' first year responsible for the 2023 release. They've increased the production run, right? The inventory, the production on it. So it's harder to hit. They added 3 or 4 or 5 different layers of stupid refractors that no one gives a shit about and no one wants, right? The price point is out of whack. It's just going up, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't even get it at an affordable price. And they're buying PWCC. They're buying They try to buy Panini. They want to get the NBA licensing, NFL licensing.
Yeah, it's coming eventually.
Yeah, well, they're not going to buy it, but we'll talk about it. But it's like swift. Everything's happening fast, and more power to Michael Rubin. He's that guy. He's the guy that doesn't have to think things over. He makes decisions. He's a go-getter, and he makes it happen, right? So they're taking over. It's the bottom line is, dude, Fanatics is taking over the sports card hobby, right? And coming from a business background, I've always known this to be true. Too much power is never too good. So I'm associating all these things. I'm connecting all the dots, and I'm thinking, so I'm looking at 2023 from a negative lens. I'm not liking what I see under the first year, And I'm the type of guy, look, I'm opinionated just like everyone else. And I know you are too. And you're very, if you feel a certain way, you're not afraid to, share your thoughts. And I always love that about you. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. And I don't care who I offend. I don't care if people unfollow me. Like, I don't care because I just say what's on my heart. And I've always been that way. But I try to not be emotional or have a bias. And I've shown that, like, I own $200,000 in Volpe cards, and I'm talking shit about Volpe every fucking week. Who does that?
I love that. I fucking love that. Because we need the transparency in the hobby is fucking gone. Okay. Nobody wants to be transparent. Nobody wants to tell the truth. Nobody wants to Nobody wants to give it to you straight.
Totally.
When 2023 came out, we told people on the live, guys, it's fucking hard to hit. Okay. Why are you buying the Diamondbacks when you have one chase, when you could buy the Mariners and you have like 3 chases, legit chases?
Yeah.
Like, buy the Mariners, you're going to have a better chance of hitting an
100%.
auto. So the best thing that I think people can do is educate and inform. And listen, there's products that come out. Topps Tribute comes out. I got some cases I'm going to put on the table. Am I a fan of that product?
I've heard you talk shit about it, though. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hell no. But I have people that are like, hey, man, it's a lower price point to get in.
I rip it too.
Yeah.
And I'm a Bowman guy, so I get it. Yeah.
It's a lower price point.
You want to switch it up sometimes too. Yeah.
And that's perfect. That's fine. Yeah. But it's also like going, hey, guys, I'm not a big fan of this. You can hit good cards. You can hit nice cards. But if you want to rip baseball, you rip Bowman. That's when you look at the long-term collectors, they rip Bowman. And listen, I had a conversation with one of the biggest Bowman guys in the hobby. And he doesn't even want anybody knowing that he's a Bowman guy because he's not known for that. Okay. And he's like, you need to shut up about Bowman. Like, stop. Like, there's just, he's like, there's
I was getting that a lot, by the way.
Yeah. He's like, there's too many idiots coming into the space and taking over and buying up the players that I want to invest in. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing, So, I'm glad we got to talk about that. I think there's things that I don't agree with you on some of the stuff that you had posted on 2023, which is fine. We can agree to disagree. We can have our opinions. And I think
here's a question though, just curious. Out of all the things that I said, let's say you disagreed with 4 or 5 of them, whatever, and maybe you agreed with some. The one thing that you disagreed with the most, do you remember? Like, what is it? I'm just curious because I want to hear your side to it too. Because look. Just like how I've been very vocal against Fanatics and I didn't like what I saw early up front, my perspective has changed, which we can talk about too. And I've shared with you behind the door. So we'll talk about that. So I can change my opinion just like anyone's. I have the right to, but I need to hear something that makes sense to me,
What you just talked about, I didn't disagree with you at all. I think when you were going online and blasting it and from a breaker standpoint and from somebody who really, if you guys don't know out there, we fucking study the sets, the checklist, how many they made.
Yeah, you guys do. You do.
My whole
too, obviously, I know.
Oh yeah. He's coming in. Yeah. He's coming in and going, we're chasing this, and this. And I bank it in my head, whatever. So when you were attacking it, I felt it was justified. Okay. It was warranted. But I also felt like I almost want to be like, Sean, did you not see how hard it was hit? Like it was fucking hard. And every live that we were doing, I was telling people, guys, it's hard to hit. you know?
But here's the thing, like a lot of my posts like would be followed up with, like, you know how we're talking about educating people, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, guys, wait 1 month and the prices are going to drastically go down. And so every 3 weeks I would show the prices on DealerNet and I would say,
Yeah.
look,
No, I saw that. Yeah.
you know, it's stuff like that. And then like, look, at the end of the day, at that time, I think, and I don't have that many more. I have 2,500 followers, right? But my following is, I'm very engaged with them, so it's a very active 2,500. It's not like
of course. I mean, you go live. Listen, you go live. You have like 30 people in your room. That's fucking good for 2,500
it's pretty good,
followers.
you know.
Yeah.
And so like I have 2,500 people, but it's not like I'm reaching the masses, you know. But for the few people that actually listen to me, which is not that many, believe me, because I prep cards for a lot of the guys that I was, you know, they were reading these posts, and I see that most of the cards are 2023 Bowman. So clearly they didn't listen, but it's all good. But my point was, another thing I was upset about 2023 was the quality control. Dude,
Yeah.
come on. Compared to 2020.
Yeah, it was definitely rushed. Okay.
It was rushed, right? But what I was saying is, like, I had like about 10 people total, okay, that actually messaged me saying, hey, thank you so much for those posts that you said, because I now am ripping 2023 Bowman and I'm getting it at a lot cheaper price point, you know? And I was like, man, and more power to you. Like, I'm happy that I was able to help. But trust me, out of 2,500 people, maybe 10 people actually were impacted.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, even if it was overpriced, even if it was oversaturated, and I'll be the fucking first one in line when I'm saying I'm going over these fucking dumb, stupid paper cards. How many, like, we talked about on the phone. I said, leave those papers in retail. Put all the paper color in retail.
100%.
Don't put any chrome or any paper color into hobby and jumbo. If you do
know how
that,
fire that would be, bro.
Oh
that
my God.
Sick.
Eliminate all the fluff paper.
By the way, I talked to Fanatics about that too.
Yeah.
Like when they were asking for my opinion, I took your advice on that. Yeah.
Let's get into that. I'll segue right into that. Okay. Because you got on a lot of people's maps, including Fanatics, which I think is fucking amazing, because Topps did not do what they did with you. So why don't you, like, fucking balls in your court? Tell us what fucking Fanatics did with you.
Yeah. All right, cool. So, I mean, like you said, like right when we started the podcast, you said, you know, if you didn't know who Sean was, this guy was ripping and keeping, you know, some breakers pages alive because he was ripping at an immense clip, right? When I'm spending millions, literally, on ripping Bowman Topps, okay? Dude, and I can't get like a replacement of my card. I have to call the automated line and talk to somebody, like, I don't even know where they're located. Who knows? And they don't, just send in a request, and there's no email. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, like, I'm no different to them. And it's fine. Look, treat all your customers the same. That, to an extent, is a flawed perspective, okay? Like, even as a businessman myself, I own a mortgage company. If I had a customer who's literally referred me, for instance, 30 other customers, when that customer who's referred me 30 customers calls, I pick up, like, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like, you know, like, I want to, like, cater to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not saying I should get preferential treatment. I'm not saying that. But Topps should know who I am. And if I needed help on one card or two cards after spending millions of dollars on their product and I can't get that help, that's not fair. It's not right.
They should be hand carrying redemptions to you.
I feel like that, but
it trickles down. It trickles down to how, like, a breaker like myself would treat you. You know, when you would go and rip a case of Sapphire, I drove to your house that day.
Oh, dude.
You know, and like, that's the kind of stuff where I go, well, I wouldn't normally do this, but the guy just spent fucking $22,000 on Bowman Sapphire last night. The least I can do is drive fucking 48 miles to your house and hand carry everything, so you can get everything prepped and fucking and graded.
Which I really appreciated. And I always I lurked your channel for the longest time before I actually ripped it. I told you this. And I was like, dude, I just like your the energy you brought, how you were, first of all, you were so responsive to everyone. There's a lot of breakers that just keep their head down or whatever they do, you know, they rip. You were so responsive to every single person. And I was just like, dude, I like this guy's energy. I like his flow. I like the pace that you ripped at.
Yeah.
To me, that's important, by the way.
Pace is key.
It's so key. And then you got sleevey in the background, like sleeving, like you're not like, okay, next case, let me top look like God, or put the card on the fucking table.
Yeah.
And then like fuck. Some people, it's just like their style. I just don't gravitate towards. And I like your style. I liked everything about it. It's like the way I would rip my own cards, right? So, anyways, but going back to Fanatics. So I get a call from PWCC. Okay. Somebody at PWCC. I'm obviously a big consigner of cards with them. They know who I am. And they say, hey, Sean, obviously PWCC acquired us. They want to know who their customer base is. Like when they acquire Tops, they don't know who their customer, like their top customers. And this is a problem. And they want to know. And so naturally, I know that you are someone who's, ripped a lot of Tops and you spent a lot of money on their product. They want to hear from guys like you how to improve, like future releases or what can they do differently. It was like that. It wasn't like to cater to me or anything. It was like, what can they do to improve? And I'm like, oh, really? And again, I'm still looking at this from a pessimistic lens. I'm like, okay, sure. I'll have a conversation.
I know. We talked on the phone. You're like, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. No problem. Let's do it, right? So sure enough, I have a meeting with one of the executives at Fanatics and and PWCC. It was a conference call, Zoom, kind of like we're on the podcast right now, face to face. And I really liked everything that the guy had to say, and he did seem interested in what my concerns were, right? That I had vocalized, and they hadn't heard about some of the stuff, and they wanted to know where I was coming from, and they didn't disagree with a lot of the things I said. They didn't.
Yeah.
They also said that you have to understand, though, 2023 Bowman wasn't 100% under their release. It's during transition, and so there's going to be better days coming ahead, and it's going to be, we only want to do things for the better. But more importantly, what they said to me that stood out, that I really appreciate, I started to appreciate, but I didn't know if it was just words, okay, is that we really want to reach out to our consumers, to the just general broadcast of consumers countrywide. We're going to have our distributors. We know breakers is a big part of the hobby now. We're gonna have a channel for them, like an angle for them. But we want to provide more of an allocation to consumers so we can drive better price points to them. This is like a conversation, right? And because one of the things when I was saying what's my beef with them, I was like, my beef is when you release a Bowman product and it's coming out at $6,000 a fucking case. That's a problem. This has like been the secret little gem that I just became a part of myself, that like the hobby in its entirety really doesn't know that much. Like people love their basketball and football. That's affordable. And this is now even being taken away from us. Like I was like, this is like, and it just seems like under your entity, it might get worse. That's how I felt, right?
Yeah.
So he said by providing more of an allocation directly to the consumers, guys like me, who he knows I'm not a reseller. He knows he's not going to offer me, for instance, let's say they offer me 2, 3, 5, 10, 15 cases of a product. I'm not going to go resell it. That's not what I do. They know I'm going to rip it if I really want the product, right?
Yeah, of course.
They like that. That's what they want. They want their product ripped. They don't like the idea of their cases being sold to either distributors or LCSs, and then they sell to third parties, and then people are using these cases as assets, storing them and reselling them. Okay. Even the 40 cases that I have right now, right? I still rip cases. You guys seen on my feed. Like I rip cases in my bed with my wife next to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm just doing it for fun. Like this is my entertainment,
Is your wife, does she enjoy, does she open with you at all?
No. And she thinks that I have an addictive personality, which I do. And she thinks that it's taken away from our time. But now that it's kind of morphing, there's more of a business side to this, with the whole thing.
And I want to talk about that because let's just go into that. Like I want to save some stuff because I feel like we could sit here for 2 hours talking about things.
We're going to do more of this. Yeah.
I want to do this a lot more. So if you guys don't know, Sean went from ripping fucking cases to slinging cards to now you're prepping cards for people, which is amazing. And I think you're doing it the right way. I would only trust 2 people with my cards. That's Santos, which he lives right down the street from you, in the California area, and I would say you. There's really, and that
That
listen,
means a lot.
that goes a long way because I don't trust. It's really hard to trust anybody in this hobby. So talk about that. Let everyone know like what's going on with that because I think what I before you say anything, talk about what you charge too because some people don't like what you're doing and how with the tens, but I think I think that's worth it, and I think that's how it should be. Go ahead.
Yeah. So okay. So the thing. Well, let's talk about how it fell on my lap. So obviously, I'm ripping a lot of Bowman, and I'm posting my results. Right. I'm not posting all my 9s. I don't post my 9s. I post my 10s, but I have a lot of 10s because I rip more than anyone else. Right. So I'm posting my 10s. People are looking at that. More importantly, I'm very active in breaks. Like if I come in your room, I'm talking to people. If I go in KK Sports or whatever, I'm talking to people. I've had friends now in the hobby, right? That I love. Like I genuinely, they're part of my circle now. Like I haven't even met these guys, but like we shoot the shit, dude. Like I love it. Anyways, some people over the last few months said, "Hey, Sean, you're by PSA. Could you help me prep this card and sub it for me? And I would do it for free. I would do it for free. I wasn't charging anything. And we saw that the results were pretty damn good. Yeah. And then another thing is my rep tells me like, Sean, you have a pretty damn high conversion, PSA 10 conversion rate. So, like good for you, And so now I'm starting to realize like, man, I have a good eye. I know how to think like a grader. Like I know I can identify issues. That's the first and foremost, the biggest thing is being able to identify issues. I think what I do that I think a lot of customers are starting to like is that I set aside about 30% of their cards. Like, so if you send me 10 cards, I'll set aside 3 that don't have any path to at least a 9. Yeah. And I'll even say this has 0 chance at a 10. I just know. I can look at it. It's got indentation, soft corner, nick, whatever it is, I just know. And so if there's no value add to you as a customer, because there's no path to a 10, which you need to have a 10. Otherwise, you're paying me for prepping, you're paying grading, and you're going to sell the card in a PSA 9 slab at the same price you would be able to sell raw and not pay any of us.
And that time is money.
Money.
Right?
Yeah. Right now, if you have LEs, PSA 9s of a base, you're selling for $100 a card, a PSA 9 base. But if you have to wait 2 more months, 3 months, LE's base PSA 9 is not going to be selling for $100 in 2-3 months. I guarantee that. Not even close. Right now, while he's hot, if you had that card either raw or PSA 9, you can sell that card right now. But if you have to wait, it's so. Anyways, so naturally, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just open this up to a couple of people, and I kind of did, and it just kind of like, I think what I did was I really put myself out there. I showed a lot of before and afters, and people started gravitating towards me. But I think what people like the most is that I live right next to PSA.
That's huge.
So I could do drop offs and pickups. I think people like that. And then I think just the credibility I have in the hobby, people trust me with big cards. Like I got sent a card and dude, I got sent an LE orange auto PSA or a first LE Dela Cruz orange auto from a guy who I never had spoken to. He got my information from someone. It just showed up at my doorstep.
Yeah, that speaks volumes. And for people listening, that kind of stuff in the hobby, especially in the hobby, speaks volumes because there are more snakes and scumbags than not. I've lost a half a dozen friendships because people have gotten into money issues and they've tried to scam, scumbag, and swindle their way, through the hobby. So that speaks volumes if someone can do that.
I appreciate that. And what was funny is you said something right now that just stood out. You said, which I appreciate. You said there's 2 people I trust, Santos and Sean, when it comes to card prepping. It's funny you say that because I'm at a point right now, like we're going to have another child here in December. Okay. I'm not going to be able to prep cards at this clip that I'm doing right now. I'm having fun with it, but there's going to be a period here very shortly. There's like a window that I can do this stuff, but I'm not going to be able to do this. And I'm definitely not scaling this where I'm trying to train other people to prep. That's not the way. This is a mama papa shop. and I'm trying, and I have to prep the cards myself, right? I got to a point where I stopped taking on new customers, and anybody who messaged me, I literally had a copy paste. I'm not even joking. A copy paste that says, "I'm sorry that I can't take your order, right? I'm not taking on new customers, but please check out at Santos Island, whatever, you know."
Yeah, from Santos, yeah.
From Santos Island, because I know his quality of work is good. I've seen the results, and I know that you trust him, and you're the Bowman guy. And I've spoken to Santos. We've spoken. We talk about, you know, ideas and strategies, and he has a good eye for that stuff too. So it's fun. It's there's so many people that need this service, and it's crazy that I didn't know that. That's another thing. I didn't know how many people really don't have. Do you know how many cards I get? Like all these cards back here. I don't know if you can see them. These are like off-centered cards, like grossly off-centered. And I know you know what to look for, but like a lot of people don't. They don't like, and I'm like, dude, if you had sent this in, you're just gonna get reamed. It's not 9 is your best shot. Your 10's not even on the scale anymore. The card has to be flawless for you to get a 9. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
You know, and people don't. I didn't realize how many. For me, it might be easy, and sometimes you lose sight, and you think that it must be easy for everyone if it's easy for me. But nah, dude, people don't know what to look for on their cards. And they have no clue. And I didn't know that there's so many people existed that needed help with this. So
yeah, you know what to look for in cards. Like I know how to entertain a live.
Yeah,
right?
You know how to entertain a live.
And so
why don't you do the two screen, by the way, anymore?
I have it set up.
That's so cool.
Well, I'm getting there. So the problem I have is I'm only on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram, you have to be an influencer to get the fucking key. So I actually have to hack Instagram to run it. And when I run it, it turns the like, you know, there's already a delay, right? It turns the delay from like 15 to like 40 seconds. And that delay is like communication barriers off. It's gone.
I see.
Right?
Okay. Is that a new thing?
What's that?
Is that a new thing? Or because you were doing it though?
I was doing it. That's what I was saying. I was back ending it, but I'm not getting it through Instagram. So I'm actually like, I'm like hacking Instagram.
Dude, but it was so like, I loved it. I was one of the first guys to tell you, I'm like, I love this setup now. It's just, you know, like, cause you're animated too. You're an animated guy when you do it.
For sure. That's why I've always wanted like 5 cameras on me. Cause the things I say and how I'm like talking to Sleevey and I'm a scatterbrain. Listen, I usually wear sunglasses on these podcasts, because I had people going, "What are you looking at in the corner?" And I'm like, "I'm not looking at anything. I'm just thinking." And I'm just like staring off to the distance. And so I have like that ADHD. But the thing I love about you and Santos, and we'll wrap this up here in a little bit. The thing I love about you and Santos is you guys are not going to force grade shit. Okay? Like there's so many people out there, and here's a little educational tip for everybody listening. Okay? Just because it's a good card doesn't mean it needs to be graded. Just because, like, don't grade it. Oh, everyone says, well, I want it protected. No, if it's going to get an 8,
they're emotional about their card.
Sell that on eBay. Just get rid of it if it's going to get an 8. And so that's it. Santos will text me and he'll go, "Hey, just got the order in. I would, 5 cards, right? I'm only going to send these 2 for you. These other ones I'm sending right back." And he doesn't charge to take them in and look at them. He's only charging the ones that he's going to prep and get ready for PSA, which I think is great. And you know what?
That's the right way to do it.
Well, you charge $25 to get 10s, right?
Yeah, no. So let me tell you. So
talk about that.
I charge $25 a card to prep. Okay.
Yeah.
The PSA grading fee is based off service level. That's completely separate. That's a matter I discuss with the
bulk
customer.
grading and stuff.
Yeah, whatever. And then I charge an additional $25 per every card that achieves a PSA 10. So technically speaking, I charge $50 a card, but half of my fee is contingent on you getting a PSA 10. If you don't get a PSA 10, it's just $25.
Yeah, and you want to get 10s,
I want to get 10s, and I get a lot of 10s.
Yeah.
Because I'm filtering. I'm looking at the card as if it's my own. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no path to a 10 on this card. This card has nicked, this, that, centered, whatever it is. And I'm having that conversation. So it's like I'm doing a lot of back-end work, communication with the customer. And so I like when a BGS, a blue Ellie, BGS 9 flips into a PSA 10, okay, and that's under my watch, $50. I mean $50. I'm not charging a percentage. I'm not charging commission. I'm not asking for tips. So it's not going to work out for some customers on a lot of cards, especially if it gets PSA 9s and it's a low valued card. It's going to hurt them on those ones.
Yeah.
But if they give me enough volume and if they give me bigger cards over time, it should work out at least, because I'm doing a lot of the filtering process up front for them. You know what I mean?
I want to give the listeners something to chew, a little bite here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you send Sean a gold Ellie, okay, are you want to pay that extra $25 from a PSA 9 to a 10 when you're talking $5,000 difference?
Yeah.
Because the PSA is the one that's going to bend you over on the upcharge. That's fine. You're always going to get upcharged with PSA. But
here's the best part. I'm not even at a point, and I appreciate you giving me a shout out, dude. Like, I really do. Like, that's awesome. But I'm not even at a point where I can even take on new customers. On the record, I'm going to be at the National. And here's the best part about it. I'm going to be at the National. And who would be willing to prep a card at the National? There's going to be no foreign substances around me. It's going to be a surface block and a microfiber cloth. And I can get to work in front of everyone. I have nothing to hide.
And they can walk over.
They can walk over
that bitch with PSA and get it the next day.
That's correct. And what I will do is free review and filtering of your card. I will look at it and then within 20 seconds tell you there's no path to PSA 10. Just get this out of my face.
Yeah.
Or all right, let me wipe down your card and put it in a sleeve in a top loader and let's sub and let's see what we can get.
Yeah.
So I think the leveraging I didn't even know Santos did that, but I'm glad to hear that he does. I think the leveraging of guys like me and Santos who have a really good eye for what graders look for and what they mark down for, filtering those cards out of the equation if there's an issue with a card in any way, I think that is the biggest value that we can provide to customers.
Yeah.
Before anything else, you know what I mean? Just having an eye for it, understanding what they're looking for, centering, edges, corners, surface, because you can have blemishes on cards and they can still get a PSA 10. It doesn't have to be flawless.
No, it doesn't have to be flawless. You just got to get that. You got to get those certain numbers to line up between edges, corners, centering.
Yeah, and you don't want, if there's surface blemishes in the face or going through the bat or anywhere where it matters, right? Then that's going to be a problem. But if there's a surface blemish or print lines or whatever under the auto or to the left side, some people might be like, oh shit, that's it, I'm done. There's nothing I can do. And it's like, no, that bitch can still gem.
Yeah,
it really can.
Of course. And it depends on the grader. A lot of the times it depends on the grader. But, once it's out of your hands, it's literally like out of your hands. It's, you don't have that control. But at the end of the day, the more people can get 10s, the more people are going to stick around the hobby. I had somebody who was a big spender of ours, and he got absolutely slaughtered on a PSA sub. I think he subbed like 98 cards. He got about 11 10s, and he was gone. He was Aaron Hernandez, fucking gone forever. And that's the point where I think it's very important for people to use who we have in the hobby to get the fucking get your 10s while you can. And trust me, man, a lot of people who rip with us, they use Santos and you. And I get the DMs. Hey, DR, look at the card you pulled. Fucking Sean got me a 10. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, Sean. Yes. Because that helps me as a breaker. Because now I know that guy's going to come back and fucking rip with us.
That's
knowing that I pulled a card for him that wasn't fucked up enough with the quality that you were able to get a 10. And if everybody can work together more like that, and like you said, you shouting out Santos and giving him pushing people his way. I told that guy, I said, Santos, get rid of your fucking day job. What are you doing, man? There is enough work out here subbing wise for that guy to stay so goddamn busy.
Dude, let me tell you something. Outside of Santos, and then I think Sports Card Yoda is another guy I know does a good job. He does mostly F1, but he does everything. But a lot of the F1 community likes him. I don't know that many other people doing what we're doing that have a good eye, understand the process, so there is definitely a need for it. So I think Santos can go full time on this.
Oh yeah. I've told him
3 times the amount of volume he's taking right now.
I told him, take that leap, baby. Take that leap. It was the best thing I ever did. I was running 2 businesses, and I said, I got to put 100% into one. I got to go into this. And I have a lot of passion. And that's why I wanted you on, because when I see you go live and I love that you prep, you're like live and you're telling people, hey man, I'm doing this card, and you're showing people like what the flaws are and how the card looks. Cause I like that. Cause the same, when you said it earlier, when you said, I treat these cards like my own, I have the same feeling as when I pull a card, right?
Awesome.
When Rajem Mint, when we pulled that red sapphire red for Rajem Mint,
bro. And you know what's funny? I love how the first thing you did is you said, hey, if you want to sell the card, I don't know what you want to do with it, but if you do, I know who wants to buy it. And you thought of me.
100%. And I knew that he was right down the street from you, like in a sense.
And he literally came like within a few days after that. We did the deal, and it ended up getting a BGS 9.
Yeah,
it had some issues. It got a BGS 9, and I was kind of like deflated about it, to be honest with you, because I was a little deflated about it, and I can't own a BGS 9. I don't know about it.
No, that's silver. If they change this, honestly, it's optics, right? If they change the silver, if it was just gold, I think I could live with it.
I
with
agree
the
with
silver
you.
9, the silver 9 and the gold 10. What are you doing?
It's disgusting, so I had to get rid of it, and now I regret getting rid of it. So what I bought it from Rajem, I sold it for the exact same price.
Yeah.
So I didn't get hurt by it. I probably lost on grading fees and stuff. But now that car is worth a lot more, even.
Oh yeah. No, I have the same attachments, right? When someone tells me, "Hey, I sold that gold James Wood," and I go, "Fuck, man, I wanted you to hold that," like I get invested in cards that we pull as if it's my own PC, and so that's why I wanted you on, because I feel like you have passion, and I think the more passionate people in the hobby is like it rubs off on people.
You've been very supportive of me, and even when I went through some tough times with some customers, you were there to defend me. I know that. But before we get off though, who's your guy that you really like?
James Wood. Okay. James Wood. His prices are high for relatively high, but he has the same body build as Ellie. He's just as fast as Ellie. You see him almost beat out a fucking trickler.
Yes. Faster than Ellie from home to first.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah. So I just think Wood's the next guy, and he's in a position. He's on a bad team, and I think he's gonna get the nod. Towards the end of the year, I think he's gonna see some time at the end of the year, and I think he's gonna run away.
These are all James Wood PSA 10s. Now,
autos.
They're not
anything,
right? Nothing big. It's just literally paper. Because here's the thing. Ellie paper PSA 10 is selling for $250. And guess what? For everyone who's watching this podcast, guess what? I predict today that this man right here, James Wood, will be selling for close to $200 for his fucking paper. I really predict it. This guy is a fucking monster.
And you'll be laughing while those guys pay that money for it too.
100%, man. 100%. I know. I'm holding to sell this guy when he gets called up. I'm not gonna PC this. But
I actually, I don't know. That's my guy. I think him and Churio are the next two to get that next step, that next
100%.
bump. Yeah,
100%.
Well, we'll call it there. This will be by far the longest podcast. I think the longest podcast before this was they were like,
I got to do a PSA reveal right now. So.
Nice. Well, I'm
Cheers,
listen,
brother.
guys. I appreciate you coming on. Me fucking I appreciate you. Mindset. You say how things that you want to say. I say things that I want to say. I'm not afraid to push the envelope. I'm not afraid to piss people off. And I hope Top sees this, because I think they need to bring more people in like you and pick your brain, because you spend a lot of money. Listen, we have a lot of customers. If Topps called me tomorrow, Fanatics called me tomorrow, said, hey, who is your fucking top dudes? I'd be like, I'd give them the list. Be like, pick their brain. And you should get free boxes every now and then. Anyways, tell people where to follow you, find you.
Highendcasebreaks. Pretty straightforward. Highendcasebreaks on Instagram only. Yeah.
He goes live on Instagram. He preps cars on Instagram. He's too busy right now, so don't even fucking DM him. All right, John.
You're the man.
Peace.
Let's do this more often.
100%.
All right.